What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. First of all, I want to say thank you guys so much for clicking onto this video today. If you guys are new to this channel, hello, my name is Brendan. I want to thank you guys so much for the time to click onto this video and to sit down and listen and have a chat with me. For this video, I really wanted to stick to the theme that I did in my last video, but also just stick to the theme of just talking about advice, because I feel like we grow every day and we learn from mistakes that we've made in our lives every single day. And obviously, as every day goes by, we're not the same person that we were a month ago or 6 months ago or a year ago. You know, like, we are always evolving and always growing and always trying to learn from the mistakes that we've made, because don't get me wrong, like, we're not perfect.
For sure. Nobody on this planet is perfect.
So for today's video, I actually was inspired by a podcast that my boyfriend showed me. It's about these two girls, Stacy and Kayla's life. The actual podcast is called I Have to Call My Sister. You guys should definitely go check it out. It's such a good podcast. These girls are hilarious. They have amazing stories where they just talk about advice in their lives, and it's a really good listen. So if you guys like to listen to podcasts, I 100% recommend it. I will try to link their podcast down below, so if you guys want to go check it out. Idea I got was actually from them, and they made a podcast about talking about basically, if I only knew back then, I wouldn't have made the same decisions that I did. And I feel like that's such a great opportunity to reflect on yourself. Wow, like, if I only knew now but didn't know back then I probably wouldn't have made the same decision that I made. So yeah, that's kind of what today's video is about. I hope that's not confusing. If it was confusing, I'm so sorry. The main focus of this video is basically, if I only knew back then what I know now, then I probably wouldn't have made the decisions that I made back then, if that makes sense.
I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense.
So bear with me. So the first one that I wrote down is, if I only knew that not everybody's opinion is a reflection of who I am as a person. I feel like my whole life, until I've gotten older, and this has a lot to do with my sexuality and me being gay, always let other people's opinions about myself define me. And what I've come to realize and what I've come to learn is that everybody's gonna have an opinion. That's totally fine. Like, they're entitled to their opinion. They're allowed to think or view me the way that they want. But at the end of the day, that is irrelevant. And the way that I look at myself is the only thing that matters. So something that I've learned is that everybody's gonna have an opinion about you. And whether they think you're making the right decisions in life or the wrong decisions, it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you come first. And I feel like I've learned a lot with, like, my sexuality, you know, throughout school, like, until I got to college. I got bullied, people made fun of me, people teased me. And I've learned that, you know, me being gay is just a part of who I am. And I'm never gonna change, and I'm always gonna be that person. And something else that I've learned is the decisions that I've made recently. You know, I've decided recently to take a break from school. And I've made that decision on the behalf of my mental health. And last semester, I really struggled with my mental health and taking care of myself mentally, because I was so overwhelmed with school while working that I wasn't able to focus. And on top of this pandemic and COVID and school being online, I just couldn't do it anymore, if that makes sense. And I know that a lot of people right now are struggling, and I kind of talked about that a little bit in my last video. I can link that video down below if you guys want to check it out. I totally get it, that it's just a lot right now, and a lot of people think that I should keep going with school and don't give up, but I always got to think about what's best for me, and right now going to school is not the right thing for me. So I definitely have learned, if I only knew that not everybody's opinion define who I am, I probably wouldn't have been stressing as much as I did in the past. I probably wouldn't have been overwhelmed as often, because honestly, nobody's opinion matters as much as yours of yourself. You know, you come first.
The first one, I know that was kind of long.
The second one is, if I only knew that not everything is permanent in life. life is always changing, we're always changing, and I feel like nothing is permanent. That goes with where we live, or where we work, or where we go to school, or what major we're doing, or anything that is going on in your life. Nothing is permanent unless you make it permanent. But there's always opportunities to try different things. If I only knew that I don't have to work at the same job for the rest of my life, I could do something else and maybe possibly like it. I can, you know? I don't always have to do the same thing
over and over and over and over again.
And you know, like, I can do something different that makes me happy, possibly even better for me, you know? So that's number 2. Number 3 is if I only knew how precious and special life can be. I still struggle with this now. I feel like I take life for granted, and I take for granted all of the things that I do have in my life. And a lot of people don't have the things that I have in my life. I think back then, I took for granted the things people did for me, especially my parents, because now I'm living that adult life. Number 4 is if I only knew to have patience. I feel like I still struggle with this, so if I only knew to have patience and not being impatient as much as I am, and that goes for a lot of things, I'm very impatient. If I only knew that if I had patience, things would probably turn out better for myself. I feel like I struggle with that a lot, to have patience. And if I only knew, even now, to have patience, it would turn out better for me. A lot of things. I wouldn't be in such stressful situations or tough situations if I just had some patience. Alrighty guys, the last and final one that I want to talk about in this video, that is my last if I only knew, that goals can become true or can be achieved if you just put your mind to it. You know, 2020, I talked about it a little bit in my other video as well. Some of the accomplishments that I had, I would have never thought at 20 years old I could have done the things that I did. And I feel like I worked hard for it, I put my mind to it, and that goes for anything in life. If you guys put your mind to it and you don't give up, I promise you, it will work out in your favor. If you work so hard and you push towards your goals, I promise you, you might be pushed back a little bit, or it might be, you know, turned away, or might be rejected, but never give up, because I promise you, if you stay consistent and work hard towards something, you can do it. Like with my book, for example, I've been working on this book for almost 3 years actually. 3 years in March, I would be working on A Token of Opportunity. And if I only knew, if I just would have stuck with it and stayed consistent with it, it probably could have been done already and been published. But since I keep putting it off and postponing it, it's never gonna get done, you know? And I'm still saying like, oh, I'm still typing it up, you know, like when people ask me about it. But if I only knew, if I just finished typing it and finished writing it and tried to get it published, probably have a book on the shelf at some store, you know, or at least published somewhere. Not published anywhere, I would have just had a book at least for myself to share and be like, wow, like I wrote a book, you know. Those are the things that I wanted to talk about today. I feel like my channel, I want to base it on positivity, talk about real deep things. I feel like a lot of YouTube channels aren't like that. I feel like spreading a positive message and something that will inspire somebody's day means more to me than a view. And I feel like I wish YouTube was more based on that, and it's not. But I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for my channel. I really appreciate it. And I will definitely talk to you guys in my next video. If you guys want to watch my last video, I will link it down below. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.